So to start off from the top, hey Robert, what is Palantir? What would you say about it?
Yeah, so simple forms, Palantir is a data analytics company.
Correct.
They work with the government and they work with private parties or public companies. And they interpret the data that's sent to them and they use that data to help their clients make decisions. Simple as that. We'll get into a bit more details.
But yeah, to go on to where you were leading about the history of Palantir. So go ahead and talk
Well,
to us about how they kind of started.
as far as the history of the company, I know
Mm-hmm.
one CEO came from a company called PayPal. Was that Peter
Yep.
Thiel? Did
Yep.
Alex Karp? Did he come from PayPal as well?
Yep. They all did.
They all did.
Steve Cohen, Alex Karp, and Peter Thiel. I
Right.
believe they were all PayPal mafia guys with Elon Musk. Yeah.
Yeah. And the good thing about this PayPal mafia is it's like, who cares that they all came from one company like that? What does that mean? It's not about the fact that they came from this one company. It's how they started this company and the way they were able to see into the future, so to speak, and say, hey, we're running into a problem. And
Yep.
before there was PayPal, I never used anything other than PayPal when I first started. But
Same here. Same
yeah,
here.
so there was eBay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eBay, you would like write checks to sellers, or you would find some way to do a transaction over the internet, and it was very slow. And it was also kind of like murky waters because you would send over money hoping that the seller would send it to you.
Yep.
And the good thing about those guys is, and again, you can jump in, correct me if I'm wrong here, but what they did was they saw, hey, there's an opportunity for us to make the user experience better. And the big thing on that is, when you want to start a business, you figure out what problem exists and how you can solve that problem.
Correct.
And so I feel that they got together and they decided, okay, the problem exists between eBay and the seller and the buyers. There's no real middleman. So they decided to create this middle guy, such as PayPal, where instead of sending your funds directly to the seller, you send it to a third party, and then they would distribute the funds, and they would verify the transactions. And once those transactions are verified, the shipment can go through. It just
Mm-hmm.
made a step for buying and selling that much easier.
Correct.
And I'm sure you have a lot of other ideas on where they wanted to go with PayPal. Are you familiar with Elon Musk's plan of what he wanted to do with PayPal?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's actually a really good story. I like it. He was trying to make PayPal the biggest bank in the world.
Right.
Okay. But I guess some of the other guys didn't really agree with his vision. So he actually got kicked off as the CEO, and Peter
Yeah.
Thiel replaced him. So I don't know. The media tried to make it like there was some kind of feud between him and Peter Thiel, but I really don't think there was. But I liked how you walked us through the history. Again, the history of Palantir, you can't tell it without eBay and PayPal, obviously, because eBay bought PayPal. Okay, eBay bought what became PayPal from Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back in 2003, I believe PayPal was losing about $3 billion in fraud. Okay, that was when the PayPal mafia guys decided that Alex Karp, Steve Cohen, and Peter Thiel were gonna go off and start Palantir just to figure out to be able to predict some of these fraudulent transactions and avoid it. So they started obviously with AI. So with AI, they were actually able to catch these fraudulent transactions, and they were able to save PayPal and eBay from losing $3 billion. And back in 2003, that was a lot of money. I know now it sounds like chicken change, right? Because the other day, a few days ago, Alex Karp his earnings for 2020 came out, and he was paid $1.1 billion in 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
But back in 2003, that was a lot of money. Okay. $3 billion was a lot of money. So that was kind of how Palantir was created, to kind of predict fraud and catch it before it happens. So yeah, like I said, with the explanation of the Lord of the Rings, that is, in my opinion, the best explanation of what the company actually does.